Okay, I'm just going to take a second and show you a little bit more about lists. So you're going to code along with me and pass these in as notes. So I opened up a new glitch project, and I'm going to call this lesson to be list practice. Okay, and you know what? Let me put my first and last name so that it becomes the URL. Okay, I'm going to go to index.html, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the stuff inside. Whoop, a lot of stuff on my desktop right now. I'm going to delete the stuff inside the body right there. Okay, so let's delete that stuff, and let's add a couple of lists. Okay, so let's add an unordered list that says hobbies. All right, we'll call the list hobbies. And if I want to show you what that looks like, okay, it just says hobbies as the top of the list. And you know what I'm going to do? Actually, if I just hit format this file, it would make it look nice for me. I'm going to do some list items in here. So note that I put the hobbies right there, and then I'm going to start a list item right here. Let's say that I like to knit. So knitting is a hobby. Okay, let's put another hobby in for cooking. Okay, let's put another hobby in so I'm just creating more list items. Hiking. And you can add your own hobbies if you'd like, or you can just copy mine. So here are some hobbies that I have. Now, I'm going to make another list that are my favorite colors. Okay, so I'm going to make, this time I want to make it a list with numbers instead of little dots here. I'm going to make a list with, or these are called bullets. I'm going to make a list that has like 1, 2, and 3 for my favorite colors. So I'm going to call this, instead of a UL for unordered list, I'm going to call this an OL for an ordered list. Okay, and I will call this favorite colors. And I'm going to make LI a list item here, and I'll say green is I like green as a color. I'm going to make another list item and call it black. Make another list item, maybe I say orange. Okay, and when I refresh this, you'll see I have the header of favorite colors, but then I also have the name of, I have the things that are in my list, but they're labeled 1, 2, and 3. Now, what I could do is I could take favorite colors out, and I could actually put it in a header. So let's say H1, and I put favorite colors there. Let's say instead of putting hobbies here, I put it outside of the list as an H1 here. That's another thing I can do. So it would look like this. Now, these are italicized in blue because in the style sheet here, it tells it to be italic and blue. If I took this out of the style sheet, it would just default to the black. And I don't know what the font size is for default for H1, but that's typically what they would look like without the style in here. That comes default in the each of the projects for Glitch. Okay, so this is how you'd make an unordered list right here. This is how you'd make an ordered list. You can actually change the way that the little bullets look like here. So you could look bullet type HTML. You could search, and it would tell you. It would give you some unordered list bullet types: disk, circle, square, and none. This is a great way. So if you said like UL style and you included something like this, if I copied this and put this back in here to my UL, I replace this. I went like that. It apparently doesn't like that. Maybe. Oh, that's not a code that works. So I'd have to investigate that a little bit more here. Let's see what it does. Try it myself. So if I hit run, oh, maybe disk is the default. Maybe if I put circle there instead. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, so that does work. It's just the disk is actually the filled in circle. So disk, square, none would look like, I wonder what none looks like. Okay, literally is nothing there. Square right here. So it looks like those are the types. Disk, circle, square, none appear to be the only things that I could do for the unordered list. So that's how you would make two lists. Now, if you wanted to make a list inside of a list, that's a little bit more complicated. So let's say that I wanted to make a list called favorite places. Okay. And I would make it, let's say I make it an unordered list, and I make a list item. And let's say I want to say, okay, Brooklyn, where I live, is one of my favorite places. Right, so it shows up right here. Now let's say within Brooklyn, I would like to add some other stuff. Like, so within Brooklyn, I want to make an ordered list. Okay, so Brooklyn, I want to say, okay, number one favorite place in Brooklyn is this place. So I would say a ordered list right here. So I'm going to start an ordered list within the list item of an unordered list. I know it seems crazy, but just follow me. Let's say I like Bed-Stuy. It's the neighborhood in Brooklyn. So there's that. Okay, that shows up under the unordered list item. It says Bed-Stuy. So I have this. Let's say I also like Williamsburg, like that. Let's say I also like Red Hook. So just neighborhoods, right? Okay. Let's say that after Brooklyn, I want to list some places that I like in Manhattan. Right there. So I create another bullet. So I went outside the closing tab of the ordered list. And I want to open up this list item Manhattan. And here I want to add an ordered list. And a list item here that says Hell's Kitchen, which is where we are. Let's say I want to add a list item of Harlem and a list item of Lower East Side. And a list item of East Village. Okay. Oh, I meant to say list item, didn't I? LI, that closes there. Let me make sure to close that there. Okay, so if you can see, I have an unordered list with Brooklyn and Manhattan, but within each unordered list item, I have an ordered list item. Okay, so let's say favorite places in New York City. So what I would like you to do is you can fill this in whatever you want, but I need to see an unordered list, an ordered list, and then an ordered list within an unordered list. Okay, or you can do exactly what I did to pass it for your notes. And that is it for the list lesson.